All right, it's Thursday, and you know what it means? It's high school football night. I'm Rick Corey. This is the Rick Corey Sports Special. That's Travis Hill. He's wringing his hands because he's ready for a game tonight. You're going to have one at home. Coach Hill and I were just talking off before we got started here that you move a game late in the week, and it was Tuesday when it happened. Suddenly things change. What does it do to your schedule personally, Coach, and as a team?
Well, it just makes it more hectic, Rick. That's all it does. It put the 2 cents in. You just fortunate being in the business a long time like I have. This is not the first time that we've ever moved games or anything like that. So what you do is, thank goodness, our game planning on Saturday and Sunday was pretty simple and unique anyway. So that does make it a little easier as far as our install and everything we've done through the week. So what it does, Rick, is real simple. Most coaches, everybody has a little bit different way of going about it. Uh, Meet Saturdays and Sundays to have the opportunity to put the things behind you from the last week in games and this week, and then obviously install everything on Monday. So our install was done on Monday, simplistic. You just have to up your ante a little bit. So yesterday's practice typically would be the best way to explain it. The day before a game is usually pretty small and not very intense. Just had to ring it up a little bit yesterday to make sure that all things are secured and that you're ready to go and that you've done enough repetition, for lack of a better word, prep, that you're ready to go tonight.
You ever had one of these situations, Coach, that you can think of where you lose a day and your team actually plays really well, and you go back and try to figure out what in the world was different in there?
Yes, we have, and I can go back real recently, and that'd be to last year when we was over at Muskogee, and we had to move the last game of the year. If you remember, again, a lot of problems on that particular Friday night coming up. Nobody wanted to prolong their season into playoff potential weeks and everything else. So we moved it up to a Thursday night as we went over to Putnam City North, and we were ahead 36-0 at halftime. The kids were relaxed, played well. Rick, kids are kids. Humans are humans. Sometimes a little change of routine is good. I mean, it really is. I mean, it makes you think differently. They always say as far as conditioning everything to muscle memory when it's readjusted sometimes can be good. So hopefully in this case again it's the same thing, that our kids respond well, and that's what they're good at, is shaking it off and going to the next step.
Yep, that's right. Kids are kids, like you said. It's more of us old people who get who have the harder time.
Yep.
By the way, this
You're
is
true.
sponsored by Tulsa Accident Care Center. Tell you more about them in a minute. And there's going to be enough rain and weather in the area. There's going to be some of that, I'm afraid. I want to go back to your win over
Mm-hmm.
Norman North. That's a good football team. I've seen them in person. Union beat them, who you have tonight, of course, by about the same score. But you're up 36-14 at the half. Your team got off to a just blazing start. What do you accredit that to?
Again, just the coaches did a good job of getting information and prep ready. But again, kids got to be the ones that accept that. It doesn't know how much we know. It doesn't matter. It's how much the kids know. I really give our kids a lot of credit. We have been pushing and shoving, as you know, some of our communications earlier in the year in our podcast, that we were just missing a beat every week. I mean, something wasn't right. We weren't cued in on something. We were pretty cued in and cleared in on what we needed to get done last week, and our kids responded. So a lot of credit to the kids, and I just give it to them. They were ready to play football, knew their assignments, did their jobs.
And Corey Sango, who we talked just about a little bit, not a lot though, and he had 187 yards on 25 carries. Describe him as a player and as a runner, Coach.
Sophomore, great vision, very complimentary to Octavian Roberson, who rolled his ankle a little bit early in the game, and no surprise to us with Corey Sango and his ability and what he does. Like I said, a great back with great vision, especially for a young kid, very strong, stout kid, and just another like putting the lingo behind this, the lingo behind it. He's a winner. He does things right, not just with us, off the field and everything like that. So Corey is a kid that you can hang your hat on, so to speak. And when his time and came, next man up, 187 yards, 25 carries. He speaks for himself. Great job, Corey.
And over 300 yards total offense. So obviously your offensive line had something to do with that too.
Absolutely, they grade out. Coach Adcock's not the nicest guy when it comes to grades. Okay, he typical offensive lineman himself, special dude, does a great job. But when I ask him, like I always do Saturday, I say, okay, how do we grade out there? That's kind of how we start before I even watch some offensive line film. And he said, Coach, we were pushing 90%, if not above, on every one of them. And I said, that's all. I did not even watch that offensive line, Rick. If they were good enough for him, they're good enough for me. So they did a great job. We all know that's where it starts.
Yeah, and then Jeremiah Satemba, he did exactly what a quarterback's supposed to do. He was 8 or 9 of 12, I believe, for 126 yards, couple of touchdowns. He didn't hurt you, put you in right positions, played some defense. He did a little bit of everything. Was that a pretty complete game for him?
It is, it's so fun to watch Jeremiah how capable he is of doing that. And when we play our best games, he's like I know for sure 3, maybe even 4 times this year he's thrown well over 70% in the football game. And like I said, no picks, couple of touchdowns. Just that's a special outing. And I know that it doesn't stick out. Hey, he had 300 yards throwing. We didn't ask him to have 300 yards throwing. We asked him to make sure he took care of the football and took advantage of the opportunities he had, and he did a great job with that.
3 interceptions for your defense, and being a defensive guy, that's got to make you smile.
Absolutely. It was funny. Noah Gillespie right off the bat in that first drive when he made that fantastic pick was just super, man. That started off things. We take that, the offense turns around, takes that, and goes down and scores. So to get those picks, Malik Ross, the second half, had one right. Like I said, they were threatening a little bit. We did have the big lead as we went into halftime. They come out, they're threatening a little bit down on our end of the field, gets him a nice pick in the red zone, and then it's good to see Jack Gardner fill in. It's turned into a tremendous football player for us. Get that last pick. I think the game was pretty much sealed, but it was also sealed in on an emotional win for us and to see one of our young players make a big play at the end of the game.
Yeah, and then you held them scoreless in the second half. A bigger deal for me is you go play a team that's pretty good, and they have some D1 guys on there, some FBS guys, and then you beat them the way you think you should be able to beat them. That's a confidence booster for coach and player, isn't it?
It is. There's no doubt about it. I'd be lying to you, Rick, and whoever else is on our podcast to say that I went into that hope, man, we're going to go just kick the tail end out of these guys. No, it's a big game. You had 2 4-2 teams at that point in time, both of them 2-1 in district play. And it was a big game at Norman North. So for us to go down there and play a really solid football game, it was very rewarding. And the bus trip home, yeah, I think I smiled most of the way, Rick. Yes,
I would think so. Yeah, this team now 5-2, Broken Arrow 3-1 in district, and a big game tonight against another 3-1 district team. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to remind you about Tulsa Accident Care Center. It's going to rain like crazy, and that's why we're moving games. And then watch, it won't rain, but I mean it's supposed to. And if it does, and if we get exactly, you see Coach's face. If we get exactly what I think we might get, then you may end up having one of those fender benders or bump into somebody or have a car accident. Well, if you do, Tulsa Accident Care Center has done something brilliant. They've taken all the things you need when that happens and put it in one building. Your doctor, your prescriptions, your PT, your imaging, all of it in one place. So you go to one place with no walk-in fee. You don't have to have an appointment, and they'll take your insurance, and you're going to be able to do it all in one place. You're not going to have to drive 18 places to get the same thing done. Blood work done there. It's all done in one place. And they're in Broken Arrow, Wasso, and in Tulsa. So no matter where your ding is, you can probably get there pretty quickly. So remember the number, which is 888-8080. Jared Gallagher, our friend who sponsors Owasso and Broken Arrow, wants you to know you can go find them right there. That's Tulsa Accident Care Center. All right, Union, obviously a team I'm familiar with since I'll be there at the stadium tonight. And it's a team that's 3-1 in district play too. Beat Norman North by a similar score, although that was at Union. I have seen them improve during the year. When you see them, their running backs are good. Stone Turner's really good. What about that football team jumps out at you first when you watch film?
I think, Rick, and you've had the opportunity working with them quite often to see them just take off from and I'm not being mean, and I know Antonio would think the same thing. If you saw them early, you maybe scratch your head. But it's a lot like we're doing over here. New people, new positioning, new head coach, the whole 9 yards. So they have done a great job, though, Rick. That's a really good football team right now. And so that's anytime you watch something grow, it's special. That's what we do this for, is to watch growth, watch people get better at what they do. So as you mentioned, some dynamic offensive firepower in the running back and the receiver, good supporting cast. And defensively, what they've done is they've learned their identity, it looks like. So I don't expect to see a lot of changes because, like I said, it's working. They've won the last 3 out of 4, 3-1 in district play. And I think you're going to see a lot of movement with them on defense. That's what they've been successful with. Got some great skill kids to lock you down in the back end. And just complimentary football right now is what's going on over there. And they're kind of on a roll like we are, the role being getting better. And so that's going to cause us a lot of grief tonight, and hopefully our kids can respond.
That's one of the things that makes this one, to me, really interesting. I mean, I haven't seen your team as much. I've seen film. Obviously, I see them all the time. they have gotten better, but I know your guys have too. And at 3-1, this is a big, big district
Absolutely.
game considering what everybody has left. I mean, I don't want to put too much on it, and neither do you, but I mean, it's important because it's the next one, but it might actually be a little more important, Coach.
Rick, there's no doubt about it. If you look at the implications on down the line, okay, and people say, well, use a coach, you should just look 1 week at a time. That's not very smart. You better look ahead because every one of those that you have in front of you affect what you actually do in the night. So just look at this, Rick. Owasso has a stranglehold right now. If they want to keep it, they got complete control of district. Okay, they've played all three of us, Union, Owasso, us, and Edmond Memorial, and have beat them. And those are your top four teams. Okay, that being said, they're in position to run this thing out. But the second place team gets a bye too, Rick.
Yep.
Okay, and gets opportunity there. It may put you on this side of the bracket or this side of the bracket with somebody, but the whole idea is to get a bye. That's a win, right? Yeah, you're playing in the quarterfinals without even having to win one, and I think teams need that, especially that time of year. To play 3 games to win a state championship versus 4, let's go 3. So it's a huge game and positioning for playoffs, for teams growing, to getting better. I'll go as far as this, even for next year. There's just no doubt this is a big game for both programs to be able to stay on top and keep their momentum going.
Last thing I want to ask, and it's almost philosophical. Antonio mentioned to me on Tuesday. You coached against these guys, and they've coached against you, and he's coached against Jay. I mean, everybody's been everywhere. I mean, that's pretty much the way it works in coaching. So you know what the coaching staff wants to do, but you know what their players look like they're capable of doing. Do you lean on the film and what they're doing, or do you lean sometimes when you're trying to make those decisions moment to moment? It's, I know what he wants to do. I don't know if he's got the player to do it, and he's doing the same with you, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I know I'm going to refer to him as AG, okay, Coach Graham. He knows exactly what he's doing. So he's going to be smart enough to do, he wants to do certain things. There's no doubt about it. We all do. I got grander plans in my eye, man. I know what exactly, but you got to do what your kids are capable of doing.
Yeah.
And I know he's smart enough over there. He wouldn't be in that position, for one, if he wasn't. And so is his staff, to do what their kids can do best. And that's like I said, it's part of the process. Here we go. We start off with these ideas that come from us as coaches, and then we start molding that and mending that into what we see our players can and cannot do. And so he's done a great job with that. You're seeing they are Union reaping the benefits of that right now, just like we are. And hopefully we're on the same trending deal of understanding our kids, putting in front of them what they understand and what they can do. Because the last time I checked, Coach Graham is a heck of a football player, but he ain't playing tonight. Neither is Coach Hill. Neither any of our coaches. So, and nobody would be there to watch that, by the way. So, kids are doing a great job. His kids are doing a great job. Coach Graham's doing a great job.
I don't know. I might buy a ticket to watch you guys get out there one more time. I just never know.
You have a reason.
It depends on how much the ticket costs.
We would charge a lot just to be able to get us out there. But,
well, one great thing, this is such a traditional rivalry. There are a lot of them. We all want meaningful games late in the year, and Coach, it doesn't get any more meaningful. I'm excited about this one tonight.
I am too. And like I said, it will always be a rivalry. Unions had the better end of it, but just because the schools sit about 5 to 6 miles away from each other, so even back in the old day, everybody knew each other. Now, these days, everybody knows but through the social media. But it's always going to be a heated contest, a great contest, and we look forward to it.